Alright, the blemishes. I've put touch-up paint on some of these little spots where the paint chipped so that they wouldn't rust too much. So there's one right there if you can see it. And then all along this top rail where the hardtop sits on it, it's scratched it up in quite a few places. I've gone ahead and put touch-up paint on all of those little spots again so that it doesn't rust through anymore, because I mean rust is horrible. Don't want rust. Anyway, this is the worst spot of all. I have a picture of it on the eBay listing, but I went ahead and put some touch-up paint on it again just to cover it up. If I do not sell the Jeep, my plan is to go ahead and rhino line all the way to this top rail right here, and I think that'll be sufficient to keep it solid for years to come. Here's the interior. It's got these new best top seats that are very, very comfortable. They're fabric, but they're a denim fabric, so they're tough. But what's really cool about them is that when it rains, they don't stay wet. You know, the rain dries through it very, very quickly. It's adjustable to any height, any angle there. Also, I have this new locking console. It's got a good lock on it. It's got 107,100 miles right now. The only thing that does not work on this vehicle is the gas gauge. I'll run it 200 miles and then fill it up, and that's how I make sure I never run out of gas. So I always keep track of it in that way. It's got a current inspection, runs out in August, has no trouble ever passing inspection. Let me show you the engine. Alright, here's the engine compartment. You can see it's basically a 30-year-old engine. Runs great though. You can also tell that the original color is white, but it's a couple of shades darker than the current coat of paint. A couple things that have been done. It's got a new valve cover gasket. You can still see the goop there. The carburetor was adjusted recently with a new choke. The distributor I've changed out to a larger one so that it will run better at higher RPMs, including a new coil. Let's see, when I start it up. Okay, runs strong like a champ. Recently replaced the clutch for the fan. Let's see if I can rev it a little bit. Runs strong. Now, you can tell the engine's pretty clean. You know, it doesn't leak anywhere on the top, but there is a small leak on the bottom somewhere. I think it's I believe it's the, what do you call it? Rear main, although it's hard to tell. Let's take a look at underneath here. All of the fluids have been recently changed at Collins Brothers, including both differentials, transfer case, transmission. You can see there's one little drip right there. And between oil changes, I will usually put about a quart of oil at some point. Now, it's funny, the first 6 months I owned this thing, it had that little drip. And in 6 months' time, I never had to add any oil. So it's kind of a hit and miss thing. It's hard to tell sometimes. I guess that's the view of the engine. And again, you can tell the undercarriage is 30 years old, but it runs great and it's solid. The exhaust is relatively new as well, within the last 5 to 7 years. Let's see if we can look at some more. Oh. let's look at the tires. Tires have a lot of tread. They work great. Let's look at some more underneath, since we're all curious about it. I mean, you can tell it's pretty filthy. When I first got it, it was caked with grease and junk, and that was, 2 years ago. And I've gotten a little better as the years have gone on. But you can see it's pretty clean. I mean, that little drip somewhere right up in there is what we're looking at. I guess that's it. All right, don't want to spin. You can tell, but I'm not holding the wheel. It runs pretty straight without any effort. Right now it's in third gear. I'm just gonna run over. I'm gonna run it up to speed a little bit so you can see that it does maintain a decent speed. Get out on the bigger road.